Create a mosaic in Photoshop. You may already be aware that you can use Adobe Photoshop to heavily edit any image. There are so many types of commands that you can do, and one of these is to convert an ordinary image into a mosaic. A mosaic refers to many different small pictures or images placed in such a way that they seem to form together one very large image. This image is fairly easy, though it's a good idea to start with a very simple project first so you could learn the basics of the process. Here are some of the things to remember in order to create a mosaic using Photoshop. Create a new file. Start with a new file, and adjust the size according to your preferences. Make sure also that you choose an RGB color mode, and not a grayscale one, unless that's the effect you want. Once you've created a new file, you will find a default toolbox where you will see all the basic controls you will need. At the right side of the screen, you will find Navigator panel that will enable you to control the different layers of your project. Do remember that each image you use will be assigned its own default layer, and in order to adjust or modify each image, you'd have to click on its appropriate layer. Assign a solid color as your background image. This will give your mosaic project an interesting hint of hue later on, as opposed to just using white as the background color. Prepare the images that you want to use. For maximum efficiency, it's best that you place all the images that you want to use in the mosaic inside one folder. This will minimize the time it will take for you to open them one by one. Click on the File button at the top of the screen, and open an image that you want to use. Make sure that you minimize the screen of the Photoshop program so that you will be able to view each picture that you open. After you open an image file, click on it and drag it to your mosaic project. Adjust the size of the image as appropriate, and place it on one corner of the mosaic project. To adjust the size of the image, click on Ctrl+T. Continue opening the images that you want to use. Every time you open an image, click on it and drag it to your project. Do this until you have covered every blank inch of your mosaic project. Select the major image that you want to use. Open the image file that you want as the major image of your project. Drag it onto your mosaic project and cover all the other small images with it. Go to the navigation panel and drag its assigned layer to the very top of the other layers. Merge the small images. At the navigation panel, click on the uppermost layer after the major images layer. Right-click on this layer and choose Merge Down. In effect, you are creating one whole layer out of all the small images in your Mosaic project. This will make managing the layer much easier and more efficient. Adjust the opacity. The next thing you want to do is to adjust the quality of the images so that you could see the small images along with the major image. Go to the layer of the major image. You will find a field in the navigation panel that says, Opacity. Click on it and you'd find that you could adjust the opacity of the image according to a spectrum. Adjust the opacity so that you will be able to see the smaller images underneath the major image. It's recommended that you assign the major image opacity of 60%. Next, adjust the opacity of the small images. It's recommended that you assign it opacity of 50%. Also, it's good to give it a darker color. Simply click on the field to the left of opacity and choose darker color among the options. Creating a mosaic in Photoshop is really simple and straightforward, but with the masterpiece that you'd be able to come up with, nobody needs to know how easy it was to do.